We thought we should take the residents of Ward 64 into confidence on what is currently happening behind the scenes and what they can then expect probably in the next few days or so. Because as you will all know that we have taken a position as the ActionSA that we will want and we would like to see the strike ends very quickly and as if it's something that could end as yesterday, because of the effects of the strike on service delivery in all the areas of Tshwane. And we have been trying to persuade the coalition partner, the DA, obviously using various channels, including going even to the extent of tabling a motion in council, which obviously didn't go through, and which is one of the points of discussions between us and the Democratic Alliance. Just briefly, I want to inform the residents that we have not given up on finding a solution to the problems. We have not given up on convincing our partners on the route that we think will assist in resolving the strike. And what we have done in the past week, we have initiated a bilateral between ActionSA and the Democratic Alliance, which was held last week on the 2nd of October. That bilateral in the main was for us as ActionSA to table what we think it is a solution to resolving this impasse. And we had a very robust and honest discussions with our colleague in the DA. And at the end of the meeting, although we didn't find each other, we were requested to put our proposal in writing. We did so on the next day. Actually, it was on the 4th of October, when we wrote to our colleagues in the DA and outlining our proposal for a solution. And the DA responded to us yesterday. So they responded to us yesterday. That time, colleagues and residents will appreciate that we had already set up this meeting to engage with you. So they responded to us yesterday, and basically in their response, they were still digging their heels and basically saying the proposal that we have put forward, it's something that they are basically, dismissing. However, we didn't stop there. We have now initiated a coalition oversight group meeting. This is the highest structure in our coalition agreement that is made up of national leaders of political parties in the coalition, and we have requested that this matter be referred to that platform. I'm happy to inform the residents that that meeting has now been scheduled, and the meeting will be held tomorrow. And in that meeting, this item will be at the top of the agenda. I'm informing you of this precisely because I want you to appreciate that now that we have secured that platform for this engagement, we want to give that discussion some respect and give it a space for those discussions to happen, and so that we can be able to find a lasting solution there, and then we can be able to communicate that solution and to our residents as soon as possible. As I said, the next scheduled meeting with the residents it's meant to be on the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And Jet will correct me, where we wanted to invite our national chairperson to also come and engage you. We think that by that time, we will have a solution, we will have that proposal that we have put, by that time it will have been debated and discussed, and we will definitely have something that we can say will take the city forward. So I just want you to appreciate that, indeed we will want to give space for that conversation to happen at the COG level. That's what we call it, Coalition Oversight Group. And then we can able to take it from there. But I want to just give you a summary of what is it that we are proposing to the Democratic Alliance and all other partners as a pathway towards resolving this strike. I think we all appreciate that this strike is an illegal strike. We all appreciate that this strike is destructive and we have seen a lot of illegalities. We have seen people breaking and damaging cities' properties, and all of us will want to see all those people, those that have been involved, being held accountable, and people being arrested, and those that are working in the city being held accountable as well within the labor relations processes that happens in the city. We are ambiguous about that. We are a party of the rule of law, and we do not support any violence and illegal means. And in fact, the residents will remember that since the beginning, when we started talking about this strike as ActionSA, we condemned the illegal strike, and we called on the workers to go back to work while we are waiting for an outcome from the South African local governing bargaining council. And that outcome obviously came later on in September. But we have been talking about this matter as ActionSA since August. So basically what we are proposing to our coalition partners is, number one, to say, let's open up for discussions and negotiations with the stakeholders being the South African Municipal Workers Union, SAMU, and the IMATU union that is also represented in the city of Tshwane. We are calling that let's firstly agree that we open up those discussions so that we can be able to open all these avenues for us to be able to unpack these proposals, and for them as well to engage with us on their possible suggestions. That's number one. Number two, we do appreciate that the city is in financial distress, and we do appreciate that there is a budget that was approved in May, and that budget spoke to a 0% increase in terms of employee costs. Those things are not dispute. All of us, I think even the unions agree that there is that type of a reality at the moment. But what we are proposing is that let's look at the possibility of finding resources within the current budget that was approved, finding money that can be directed towards paying the increases, and not even paying everything that is being asked by the unions, but negotiating with the unions on what is affordable from the city's point of view that will not obviously cripple the city financially. We have looked at the budget that has been approved. We have analyzed it. We have picked up that there is avenues, the money that can be used to directed employee costs. For example, there is a budget that is allocated to contractual services, and that budget can be trimmed for money to go there. But we are also suggesting that the current budget, existing budget that has been approved for employee costs, that budget makes a provision for a 5.4% increase. The city has budgeted 12.6 billion rand for this financial year on employee costs. We have analyzed the previous expenditure on employee costs, which should be the same expenditure for this financial year. And that expenditure came just under 11 billion. So there is about one point something billion that can accommodate the increases that the union are due for. And we are saying, let's look at this because it is already a provision that has been made in this budget. We don't have to look for new money. We don't have to even go for a new budget, but we can utilize what has already been approved in May. We have looked at the previous year of 2021-2022 financial year. We have actually noted that the city, even that time, didn't spend even close to about 12 billion. There was a surplus of close to about 2 billion, and and it shows that the city's expenditure in terms of employee costs, it's not going to reach the 12.6 that we have budgeted for in this particular year. And we are now proposing to the city that let's look at those avenues and see how we can be able to accommodate these increases. But we have also emphasized, and this is the conversation that we also had with the union, SAMU, that we don't think that the city will be able to accommodate the entire 600 million that has been bandied around. We think that we should be able to find a middle ground and accommodate that. Maybe we might have to pay some of the workers in the new financial year once the city has really recovered from its financial distress. Further to the analysis that we have done, we have looked at the current year of 2023-2024, and we have looked at a report. It's called the Section 71 report. This report is the report that the city manager sends to National Treasury every quarter of the year. And the report that went to National Treasury in August confirms that the city has not spent their budget in terms of employee costs. In fact, they've only spent about 23% of that budget in the first quarter of this financial year, and that's also it's something that we are asking the city and the mayor to look at as an opportunity for them to say, indeed, the expenditure that, or at least the budget that we have put aside, it makes a provision for us to be able to even accommodate what has been requested, or at least approved by the South African Local Government Bargaining Council and SALGA. So there is an agreement of that sort, and we want to see a possibility of us ending the strike by means of finding each other with the unions and finding a middle ground that can be able to end the strike. So we are taking all these proposals to the coalition oversight group tomorrow, and we are hoping that after that we will be able to give feedback to the residents of Ward 64 on how we're going to take the city of Tshwane forward. Over and above that, as ActionSA, we have taken an approach that we are not going to be going into the media and fighting with the DA on the media and having a back and forth with them and criticizing each other there. We are going to use the channels that are available within the coalition agreement to be able to resolve our issues. So I want to make the commitment, Henriette, that once that meeting it's completed tomorrow, and we have a feedback, we will definitely reach out to the residents and be able to share that feedback with them. So that's what I wanted to share this evening with the residents, and asking for indulgence to say, let's wait for that meeting that will happen tomorrow, and then we can be able to provide a full briefing and direction as to what is going to happen going forward.